What's up, everyone? So today we're going to cover some questions from the Discord server, the Discord channel. If you're not on that, I would suggest getting into that. It's going to be a good time. So to start off, what are some tips for getting past the initial not interested objection? First, let's understand what that is. That's really not an objection. That's smoke and mirrors. That's I need to get off the call. This is not worth my time. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is a cold call. This is a spam call, what have you. So when that happens, you want to redirect into a qualify. So something like, honestly, I understand. I'm not even sure if it makes sense for us to be speaking. Looks like you might have been looking for some financing options for the business in the past. I'd understand if you were working with a broker or someone charging, crazy rates and middleman fees, why you would not be interested. But that's not what we're looking to do. Now you're going to pitch your value. We're looking to become your business finance partner. What that means is anytime you need capital for your business, anytime you have an issue with payroll, anytime you're looking to expand, you're going to call me personally, and then we're going to get it for you at rates that are going to actually help your business, not hurt your business. No one wants to give you something that you're hating and bleeding to death with every single week and then going bad on, because it's not going to work out good for any of us. We want to have long-term, sustaining relationships. So that was kind of long-winded, but that's kind of how I would go. That's understand that's not a real objection. It's smoke and mirrors. That's just them just not understanding, what's happening on the call, or you're just calling straight cold data. You want to get past that. Of course, you're not interested. You might have been working with a broker in the past. You might be doing this, etc. Okay. Follow-up protocols once you have statements in hand. So that's going to depend on the, how busy you are, how not busy you are, how many deals you have in the pipeline. One of my old team leaders used to say that if you have, anything that's 20K and up kind of deal, those are the ones you want to baby and you want to hold their hand. So you want to say things like, once you have everything to submit, something like, okay, listen, I'm bringing this to final underwriting now. Give me an hour and a half to come back with something really good. Just give me your exclusivity. I know you're getting a ton of calls. Give me about an hour to 2 hours to get back from final, and then we'll put something in front of you. I'm confident we're going to get something that's really going to work for you and you're going to like. So that's kind of how I would do it. And then when the approvals start coming in, then you kind of handle that on a case-by-case basis. Maybe they're looking for one thing specifically and it hasn't come in yet, or the thing does come in, but you're waiting for something else to see if there's something better. Just don't make the mistake of pitching the first approval that comes in. I think this happens to everybody, is that it's like, it's so classic. You're waiting on approvals. One comes in, you call the merchant, and they say they don't want it, and then 10 minutes later the most amazing paper, crazy approval comes in. That happens all the time. But something I'm going to give you that's going to help that is the soft pitch. We talk about that all the time, because the next question is, how do you deal with ghosting? The soft pitch is really going to help that. So you're not going to just pitch the terms. Let 99% of the industry do that, okay? You're going to, get an idea without actually pitching the approval. So what that's going to sound like is, let's say the business owner wants 200K, and the only approvals that are coming back are really like, 150Ks or 140Ks. Instead of just calling the business owner and saying, hey, I got 140K, do you like it? Right? Which, if he doesn't like it, he's going to just either be polite or rude and then never speak to you again, and then deal with the 100 other people calling him. Instead of doing that, you're going to soft pitch and say, okay, Mr. with XYZ, I've got you in final underwriting. I wasn't quite sure. I think I have like 140 to 150K. Does that even help you? And then you're going to find out if that helps. Okay. If it does and he wants that or she wants that, great. If not, if they say, what do you mean 140? I told you I needed 200K. Then you're going to say, that's exactly what I thought. Let me let them know in final underwriting. I don't know why it came back less. Give me about an hour. I'll call you right back, or 15 minutes. So what you've done is saved yourself the pitch. You've saved yourself giving them the terms and the approvals that they don't like, for them to just straight up ghost you. Now you have another chance. You're getting more lives. You get more at bats when you do that, to call the merchant back when you have something better, or whatever you have to do to fix it. So that's number one with ghosting. Number two, I would say, is going to be rapport. If you build a solid rapport with the business owner and truly detach from the sale, this is very tricky, because most of us are commission only, eat what you kill. But if you can come off as a trusted advisor consultant, and you're not looking to make the commission on this deal to pay your rent or whatever you have, and you're truly looking to help them, in my experience, they're going to be okay with telling you why they don't like the deal. That's sort of what's happening when you're getting ghosted. Someone's beating you. They're getting tons of calls. They're shopping you. That's most likely what's happening. And then sometimes they are just truly busy and they'll get back to you. But most of the time they're shopping. And if you detach from the sale and come off as a trusted advisor, looking to actually help them and help solve the solution, the problem, they're going to be okay with saying, yeah, listen, Sam, I like you. You're a good guy, but I've got XYZ here. And they're giving it to me for this. Now I have my foot in the door again and I can compete with that. And I can say, okay, so this is what you have. This is what you need. If I can get this for you, well, are you ready to move forward? Yes. Now I have another way to come back in. I have another at bat, so to speak. So, I can't stress enough the rapport. If you're just speaking to people and, you just collect the information, hang up, they're going to forget you. And I would also. You need to separate yourself. You need to sound like you're at the top floor of a Manhattan office building in a three-piece suit. You want the mentality that you're prospecting for a hedge fund that's looking to inject capital into these different businesses. So that should help with the ghosting. How to get them back from ghost town really depends on your relationship with the merchant. If the business owner is a nice person, there's one way, and if they're not a nice person, there's another way. Sort of black magic stuff that I can get into with you, personally, if we do some training. But the kind of nice way to handle it to handle it the nice way, I would say, is just to say things like, you know, um, where do we go from here? Or, an emoji with the crying face, or say things like, listen, I really want to, earn your business here. If it's a dollar amount or the term, let me know what it is so I can bring it back and I can most likely get you something better. Um, if you're getting ghosted, you've lost. Normally, they went with somebody else. They're just shopping. They don't like you. There's 100 other people calling. So keep that in mind. If you're soft pitching, if you're correctly qualifying the merchant, and you're building the rapport. So the last thing I'm going to cover is qualifying the merchant. So you could get in 10 applications a day on just straight paper files that will never take a merchant cash advance. And they're going to ghost you. And there's nothing you can do about it because these people will never take an MCA. You want to qualify them for what's the urgency? What's the capital for? Are you looking at it because, you're just shopping, you don't need to make a decision for 6 months, or, you need to cover payroll. You need it for some, some equipment on some jobs. You're doing some expansion. When you get an idea for the problems that you're going to look to solve, now you have a better understanding if this person actually needs the money. Because again, if you're not qualifying them and they're just paper files with perfect credit scores, they're never going to take a merchant cash advance. It's not your abilities, it's the actual situation. So I hope this helps. Check us out at cashadvancetraining.com. Join the Discord server. All the links should be in there. Yeah, let's get funding.